Yes, yes, we can hear you now.
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for the warm welcome, Daryl. Really appreciate it. Good afternoon to all artists and authors. My name is Bevan Boggenpoel, and I, together with Selwyn, Milborrow, the co-author of the very interesting, fascinating book titled Madiba's Quotes and Anecdotes, Reflections and Conversations. I first would like to make use of this opportunity to thank the organizers for the opportunity to launch my book on this platform. A special shout out must go to Daryl, David. Thank you for the wonderful work that you are doing by giving writers, artists, authors, and poets a platform to showcase their work and art. Before I continue, allow me to read a quote and poem out of the book, Madiba's Quotes and Anecdotes, Reflections and Conversations. This is what the book looks like. The cover, front cover. That's the back cover of the book as well. Cover, that's the front cover. Page 16, quote 2 says, "When a man is denied the right to live the life he believes in, he has no choice but to become an outlaw." Nelson Mandela. So at the Rivonia trial, Madiba was found guilty of sabotage. He was sentenced to life in prison. This was a judgment he was prepared to undergo in order to liberate his people. Madiba believed that no man should be denied the right to live the life he chooses. When this right was violated, he had no choice but to fight for it. The poem I want to recite is found on page 91 in this inspirational book. It's titled Sturdy Steeple. I have climbed many mountains, dived through many waves. I've seen many of my beloved peoples being sent to shallow graves. I've been to the depths of the ocean, gone as far as the northern star. I've seen many of my comrades could not make it very far. I've been tossed to the sharks, exposed to teeth that barks, all my cuts and bruises and permanent prison scars, all for the sake of freedom, freeing my people from oppression. I could no longer just stand by and witness their hurt and desperation. This ideal I hope to achieve while alive, but if needs be, prepared to die. Even if it means being tortured, I won't rest until I try. Dedicating my life to this cause, to the struggles of the African people, standing firm and strong like a church's sturdy steeple, I cherished a democratic and free society. That became my main priority, taking the powers away from the white minority and giving it to a united majority. Equally enjoyed by all, without prejudice but pride, apartheid and segregation could no longer be allowed. The hearts of a rainbow nation who will advance forward as one. The time has come to cast aside all frustrations, revenge, anger, and gun. This could be achieved, I always firmly believed, when I walked out of prison, the excitement and the relief. Sturdy Steeple found on page 91 in Madiba's Quotes and Anecdotes. Before I continue with the actual launch of the book, Daryl, I would like to share some background information about the award-winning author, Bevan Boggenpoel. I was born in Arcadia in the northern areas of Port Elizabeth, now known as Gqeberha, in the Eastern Cape. I grew up with my mother and father and 8 siblings. We did not have much growing up. Therefore, my mother always encouraged us to work hard at school and to study. She said having an education was the only way to overcome poverty and hardships. I listened to her and followed her advice. After matric, I did some general work, but later on, I went on to study at the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University, like it was known back in 2005. In the meantime, it changed its name to Nelson Mandela University. I studied towards a teaching degree known as B.Ed Intermediate Phase. From 2005 through to 2008, I focused all my attention on getting my degree. I graduated with my B.Ed IP degree in 2009 and felt very proud seeing that I came from a less or underprivileged background. During this time of studies, we were always given diaries by the university, and in those diaries were footnotes in the form of quotes. Nelson Mandela's quotes always struck me as inspirational and motivated me along the way. I always knew that I wanted to do something with these quotes. At the time, I just didn't know what exactly I wanted to do with these quotes, but I was constantly thinking about it. In 2020, I completed an honors degree in literature, Afrikaans, and Dutch. And during this time, the idea of using Mandela's quotes in some way came running back to me. The idea for the book came about during the first COVID-19 lockdown last year. I and Selwyn started sharing our favorite poetry and commentaries with one another. The idea of using Madiba's quotes in this way in our book struck me like lightning, and when I discussed it with Selwyn, he immediately loved the idea. In the book, like Selwyn mentioned earlier, we used 27 quotes to reflect on his 27 years in prison. We had to write to the Nelson Mandela Foundation, obviously, because he's a world icon, freedom fighter, and I had to ask for permission to use his quotes. Told by the foundation that we need to submit quotes, and those quotes needed to be authentic. So I had to dig deep. Obviously, I had the diaries with me all along, and I just quoted out of those diaries. I sent it along to the foundation, but lo and behold, probably about 9, 10, if not more, was scrapped. And I've already started with the manuscript, writing commentary surrounding these quotes. And when it was scrapped, half of my book was also scrapped. So the lady told me that I had to go back and find the authentic quotes, because many of the quotes Mandela used over the years are also paraphrases and sadly say who the quote belonged to. So obviously people thought that it was his quotes, but it wasn't the case. So I had to go dig deep. I had to get this book, Long Walk to Freedom, and read the book and get quotes out of that book for our book. So yes, it was a process, but it was a worthy process. I learned a lot, so much from Mandela, reading his autobiography. So yes, the 27 quotes then was accepted by the Nelson Mandela Foundation, and we were given the go-ahead to use those quotes. I was told that I need to use the quotes exactly the way it is. All punctuation marks needed to be in place exactly the way Madiba uttered those quotes. So after getting the go-ahead from the foundation, the journey of writing this book started. So many books over the years were written about Madiba. Many books were written about this remarkable man. Most of the books written about Madiba are his life stories and also his time in prison. We wanted to look at a new approach, a fresh approach to write about this inspirational leader. So in this book, we used 27 quotes, and to it we added anecdotes, like Sal mentioned early on, out of his book, Long Walk to Freedom, that is taken out of Madiba's book. And coupled with commentaries and poetry gives this book that special meaning and place in the Madiba legacy. This book draws the curtain on historical events that took place in South Africa and paved the way for the South Africa we are enjoying today. An integral part of all that happened in the apartheid era of South Africa was Nelson Mandela. He stood up for human rights and human dignity. The harsh realities of the cruel apartheid regime struck him in the gut, and he wanted to do something about it. This awakened a fight in him that he was prepared to die for his convictions. The book finally also pays homage and tribute to his struggles and hard fought for change that he eventually saw materialize. Martin Luther didn't see the change in America materialize. At least Tata Madiba got the opportunity to see the change materialize in South Africa. So my favorite quote is the quote that opens up the book to all the other inspirational quotes. This is the quote that really inspired me to become more than what I am today. Allow me to read it to the audience and also allow me to read a poem out of the book. Quote 1 in the book says, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Nelson Mandela. And I've experienced this firsthand. I'm a teacher in the northern areas of Gqeberha, and I can see how education can change a learner's life for the better. There is hardships, there is struggles, daily struggles where I teach. But really, some of those children really rise above their circumstances because they make use of the tool called education to propel them forward in life. So education is, like Madiba said, really a powerful weapon which you can use to change not only the world, but also to change your situation. On page 8, in this book, there's a poem titled "Breaking Boundaries." I've been tried, I've been tested, I was also arrested. I was tortured, I was abused, I was also accused. I was jailed, I was dehumanized, I was demoralized. I was a slave, I was brave, I also forgave. After my hell in a cell, I later excelled. I fell down, got back up again. I was like a stain, a constant pain, driving my enemies insane, my struggles not in vain. I fought for freedom. That's the reason I was tried for treason. A poem by Bevan Boggenpoel in this wonderful, inspirational book, Madiba's Quotes and Anecdotes, Conversations and Reflections. Thank you so much, Daryl. I don't know if there's anything Selwyn would like to add to what was said now.
Selwyn?
No, nothing. Daryl, if you don't mind, I noticed that one of our audience members is Trudy Wegner, and she's a powerful poet that has really influenced my life as a youngster before university. So I'd like to give a shout out to her.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Are there any questions for Bevan and Selwyn? Any questions? Can I just ask a question to either one of you? You described the journey of the book, getting the permission, etc. How long did all of that take to get the permission to do the book, and from the time you had the idea until the book was published?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question, Daryl. Let me just answer that question in the audience as well. I had to email the foundation, and in about a week's time after sending the email to the foundation, they replied to me and they said that I must submit the quotes to them and they will look at it. But I needed to make sure that the quotes was authentic. So I had to dig deep. I had to, like I said earlier, I had to read the book of Madiba to get his authentic quotes. It was sent to them, and lo and behold, about within a month's time, yes, I think a month, 4 weeks, then I got an email back from the foundation, and obviously with the approval that told me that the course is approved, and I can use the course, and I can continue with the project that I want to do. So yeah, it took about a month and a half to get permission from the foundation.
Okay. Now that is, you know, quite astounding that it was such a short space of time, because the reason I ask is most people say, you know, if ever you want to do anything around Mandela, it's very difficult to get it. But it's good to hear that your experience was a positive one, and it took such a short space of time. So thank you.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
Selwyn, you wanted to say something?
There is just something that I wanted to add. Yes, our book obviously is available. It's available at the Nelson Mandela Varsity Shop online platform. You can get it over there, and the link that people can obviously use to get the book is the one that I'll just show now. https://online shop.ac.za